Andrew McCART, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to be joined by my now good friend, George Lockhart. George, man, first and foremost, how you finding Dallas, brother?
I'm loving it out here, man. It's always fun with the team. Billy Joe's team's the best. Getting to see, your ugly mug out here again is always fun too.
Listen, man, talk to me about Billy Joe, man. You're preparing this food because at our last interview, you explained your sort of role. You're working with Tyson Fury, you work with UFC fighters a lot in terms of nutrition and weight cut and stuff like that. Just for people that didn't see that interview last time out, just break down in terms of what you do for these fighters.
We just, honestly, we just try and make them the best version of themselves. You know what I mean? Billy Joe's been working with Greg Marriott this entire time. I'm coming in the last couple of weeks just to make sure that the actual cut itself goes well, and the rehydration and replenishment process is perfect and flawless. It's such a huge match. This is where a lot of guys, they have a perfect camp and they screw it up at the end because they don't hydrate properly, they don't replenish properly.
And I've seen some of the food that you've brought in for Billy Joe. I mean, you can cook up a storm in that kitchen, brother. I mean it, like.
Man, it's taken a long time. When I first started out, it was like boiled chicken, and it tastes like rubber. But I've really got a passion for cooking now. It's therapeutic for me, and I love seeing the fighters looking forward to their next meal. I
mean, yourself as well. I mean, you do the weight cuts for the UFC fighters and stuff like that. Now we spoke before with boxers and stuff. The weights between the divisions is maybe the weight is like 6-7 pounds, and the UFC is such a big drop, 20 pounds, 25 pounds here, there, and everywhere. I mean, is it easier to cut weight for a boxer than it is for the UFC fighter? You know what I mean? Because obviously, loads more weight divisions in this sport.
And I never want to take anything away because all weight cuts, if you have cut 5 pounds, 10 pounds, it sucks. But in terms of MMA versus boxing, most boxers, they'll be like, man, I got 5 pounds to go. Like, is it going to be tough? Whereas most UFC guys are like, man, I only got 15 to go. We're looking good. You know what I mean? So I know it's in boxing, size isn't as much of an advantage as it is in MMA. So the drastic cuts don't benefit the boxers. I'm not an advocate of drastic cuts, but I see why they do it in MMA.
You've made quite a transformation, George, because you went from ex-Marine to MMA fighter to now a chef in the kitchen. I mean, you went from one extreme to the other, man. How did that process happen?
Man, it was over time, but it's funny because like my business partner, he's a Bronze Star medalist and a former Marine with me as well. And we used to always we were talking about rifles, and now we're talking about recipes and Tupperware and shit like that, man. I'm like, oh.
Tupperware?
Yeah, I'm like, hey, Dad, it was like 10 for $1. You see it over there? No, so, it's funny the things you get excited about. But the one thing is this something I get to do? I love combat sports. Obviously, can't do that forever, but this is a way that I can be a part of tons of not only regular fights, but huge fights like championship fights like this.
Talk to him about this fight then. Billy Joe Saunders threatened to call the fight off. It's apparently right now he's not made any word. The fight's still on. Team Saunders put it on Team Canelo yesterday. I don't know if you've seen the footage. You were too busy in the kitchen. You should have been a part of this. What's your thoughts on, did you see Canelo's reaction to Team Saunders? It seems to be, to me, that he's a little bit rattled, maybe even fired up. Depends how you look at it.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anybody that can rattle Canelo, it's going to be Billy Joe. And I think that, what they're aiming for, a lot of this stuff, inches matter at this level. You know what I'm saying? That's why they bring me in. Ounces matter. So you find point, once you get to the tip of the spear, those little things matter, and the fact that they're fighting for that, I totally understand it.
I mean, working with Team Saunders, and you work also with Tyson Fury. We spoke about that last time when we were out in Bolton for the MTK show. That's when we first met. We working with Tyson and working with Billy, man, how you find that? I mean, the unique individuals, to say the least.
Honestly, Tyson's like one of my best friends now. We clicked real quickly, and his personality. Obviously he's everybody's drawn to him. Same thing with Billy Joe. Everybody's just drawn to him and that energy that he brings. Now, the thing is Tyson gets in Thursday, and I cannot wait to see him and Billy Joe together. That energy is just going to be, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, definitely. Have you seen Billy Joe and Tyson together before?
No.
Well, you'll enjoy it.
It's going to be crazy. I have a feeling it's going to be nuts.
Just back to this fight itself then. Billy Joe Saunders is that southpaw, slick southpaw, and we've seen Canelo have difficulty against southpaws and also slick boxers in Mayweather. I'm not saying Billy Joe Saunders is Mayweather by any stretch of the imagination, but a lot of people actually giving Billy Joe Saunders more of a chance than previous opponents for Canelo. A lot of people are saying Canelo's unbeatable, but when I go on Twitter and when I go on my Instagram, I'm seeing quite a high number of people giving Billy Joe Saunders a chance. How big a chance do you give him?
Well, I wouldn't be out here if I didn't think he was going to win. But, I mean, real talk, like in MMA, one thing I noticed, like Anderson Silva, he was unbeatable for years, right? And the thing is most people lost before they even got into the cage. They were just like, man, if I could just make it to the third round or the fourth round, they consider that a win. Whereas Billy Joe's coming out here, and he's not looking at Canelo as some god. He's just like, it's another dude, and I'm going to take him down. And he believes that. He not just say, he believes it. And I think that his mentality is what's going to make a huge difference, and that's something that Canelo hasn't faced in a long time because, like I said, I think most guys, you look at his last fight, I think Kaloum was done before he even got in that ring.
Think he can win?
Do I think he can win? Yeah. No, I don't think he can. I think he's going to win.
There we go. Right answer there, George. Right answer for yourself. They're being that you're part of Team Saunders. Now, I want to just talk about the first night I was here. You took me out to Chili's with young Andy from Boxing Social here. Obviously, he had his Pepsi, but you gave me how many whiskies?
I think it was two whiskeys?
One double.
One double, yes, one double. I was trying to
put fruity Jack Daniels.
Put some hair on your chest, you know what I'm saying?
I want that voice, man. I want that voice, man.
You're working on it. You're getting close.
I mean, you do have a little injury there, because I've seen that you got a wee bit of sweat for people that can see on the camera here. You had a little workout this morning, but you done body sparring with the big Jamie Sheldon, the cutman, and you've torn your bicep. Are you too old for this game now?
I think I was too old for this game years ago, but I showed up. I was dropping off food to Billy Joe, and they're like, "George, you want to jump in there?" It's like, hell yeah! So I just jumped in there, cold. Should have known that's why you warm up, but it was a blast while it lasted. You know what I mean? Did a couple rounds, and it was a good time still.
Right, George. I'm not going to keep you much longer, because I do want to go and see, because you've shown me the lump on your bicep there. I do want you to go and get medical attention here, maybe get wrapped up some ice or something like that. But as always, it's a pleasure to talk to you, man. I love drinking, having the whiskies with you, brother, man. I've probably taught you more about Scottish whiskey than most people, but I'm going to bring you a bottle of that Bunnahabhain over next time I meet you.
Done deal, brother. I'm excited, man. Obviously, yeah, it's always a good time with you. It's a good time being out here with the Combat Sports, man. I'm excited for Saturday.
Good, man. George, as always, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much.